Donna, and I'm so excited to be here with you guys today and do June's Soulcast. I'm going to do it a little bit differently than I normally do. I actually already pulled the cards, so I have all the cards laid out right next to me. And I'm going to be looking at it more from a thematic perspective. So I may reference the card, I may not, but I think that this is going to be a new way for us to really get into the energy and to understand it. And June is going to be an incredible, fun month. The card that I pulled is so supportive. It's Rejoice in Celebration. It's a number 3 card. I'll actually show you this card. And when it comes to rejoicing and celebration, this is a celebratory energy. It's really about finding gratitude, not only in the big things, but the everyday things that sometimes we take for granted, that when we pause and get really quiet, and I always say it's the moments in between the big ones, right? So we could always, of course, celebrate like when somebody gets engaged or has a baby or something beautiful is happening, get a raise, but it's the moments where you're in the quiet in between and you notice how well your life is going, not because everything's perfect, but because you're really learning to find and cultivate peace within yourself. And that, my friends, is one of the best gifts you could ever give yourself, because in a world where there's a lot of stuff going on that's very challenging, one of the best things you could do for yourself is find that inner peace and joy and work on it every single day, like a garden where you're in there and you're planting and you're making sure that no matter what is happening, you're pulling out those weeds. So there's this feeling this month of really fine tuning what you're listening to, what you're paying attention to, the conversations that you're having, and making sure that you're really beautifully working with the things that you want and you want to see more of, you want to see grow, and you're pulling out the weeds. You're cutting out some of the distractions. You're letting go of some of this. And I want you, no matter what, to have a lot of fun this month, to really enjoy your summer if you're up here in the Northern Hemisphere, and really just be in a state of wonder around all the things that are happening in your life, because I have a feeling for some of you, you're living currently what you used to dream of. And that is such an incredible feeling. But this is going to be a very chatty, conversational month. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of energy. Jupiter moved into Gemini. We're in Gemini season. We have a Gemini new moon this month, a Capricorn full moon. And when all of that's going on, Gemini energy is really about our daily rituals, our communication, how we're expressing ourselves. It has to do with our extended family and siblings and our neighbors and all that kind of stuff. So really think about getting out and about. And the more you're out and about and that you're doing things, the more you're going to see that Jupiter energy of expansion and abundance, things coming into fruition, synchronicities, people bringing into your life the perfect conversation that sets you off on a new path. So really, really, really fun energy for the month of June. So that's what we'll be tracking. And for that first week of June, starting on the 1st, going all the way through June 9th, we have a beautiful week of working with what we want to achieve. And we have a new moon in Gemini on the 6th. So I told you what the new moon is about. It's the daily rituals, it's our communication, and it's our kind of extended family, neighbors, really close friends, and all that kind of stuff. And so you're going to be setting intentions around that energy, combined with where Gemini falls in your chart, what house it falls in, and synergistically, intuitively seeing those kind of blend together. That's always my favorite thing to do. If you need support with that, come join me in Psychic Bestie, where I'm going to be doing a new moon and full moon breakdown, sharing. I also do channeled insights in there, Q&As. It's super fun. So check out Psychic Bestie on Patreon. Okay, so for this first week, where we're going to be really looking at what we want to achieve. And it's not to say that we always have to be like, I want this next, and always focused on that. But there is some energy of where you want to head next. And I really see this as what is your next full expression of you? Because Gemini is so much about how we communicate. I've always believed that your throat chakra, how you describe your reality, who you say you are, I am this, all of that is such a contributing factor to what you're creating. And the vision that I was seeing is somebody traversing up a mountain. They want to get to this beautiful view. And what you do on a daily basis, I want you to think about this week. I really want you to look and go, what am I doing to support where I'm going? So if you're saying that you want to be a certain way in your business, but you're not practicing any of those things, then you're freaking lying to yourself, right? And that is not going to get you where you want to go. So this is really about, as you're journeying up the mountain, metaphorically speaking, are you prepared? Are you doing the things that are going to allow you to get to the top and to see the view and to feel good about enjoying the hike up there? It doesn't seem like it's the hardest hike in the world, but this definitely feels like you're preparing yourself this first week of June for something. You're preparing yourself to get to that higher vista. And I'm not even saying that you're going to achieve it this week. I'm just saying you're starting a new journey of some sorts, and you're really practicing how to be best serving your needs through how you show up. And there might be a little bit of discipline needed to support yourself. So I want you to think about, what do I need to cut out? You know, if I'm moving away from some negative patterns to some more positive patterns within myself, whether it's your beliefs, whether it's the things that you're doing, maybe cutting some of these patterns out that aren't supporting you. There's just a really big emphasis this week on being really clear. And the other part of it is knowing when to surrender and allow. On your journey, on your metaphorical hike up to the mountain to see things, you might get like a detour here or there. You might feel you can't go as fast as you want. This is not about your timing. You're going to notice that June is asking you to get into connection with divine timing, and that it's not to say that what you are working towards isn't going to come, but you have to trust the overall timing of your life, that there are other moving parts and pieces. So there is very much this energy of allowing and accepting what is. If you cannot accept what is, that means you're sending a message to the universe and you're saying, I'm sorry, I don't want this. And when you say I don't want this to like the things that don't feel good, then you're also saying I don't want this to the things that feel good as well, because you can't have one without the other. This is a planet of duality. So energetically speaking, if you're pushing away and resisting something, you're basically just holding up the whole line behind it. So where might you need to allow so that you can drop your defenses and move into a space of more receptivity, so that you won't be held up and suffering, and make your path longer and more arduous than it ever needed to be, ever, to get to where you want to go. So there's just this sense of really noticing the timing of the universe, having fun along the way, of becoming the version of you that is going to be at the top of the mountain, enjoying the vista at some point. This week is really a week of becoming and allowing and accepting, so that you can move forward. And some of you just might find that you're like really pushed forward energetically. A lot of timeline shifts this week. So if you're into timelines, what I mean by that is energetically things accelerate. You get there's a lot of psychic information this week available to you. If you're in your meditation practice and you're really listening, that is part of it. You know, if that's not part of your daily routine, then that's something that you need to look at, right? Is that, because that's very supportive of you receiving the information, knowing you're on the path of alignment, and finding yourself moving through like almost like a quantum acceleration, where you kind of feel like you jumped ahead a little bit. Maybe instead of having to move through each step, it's like you jumped ahead 3 steps. And it's for those of you that find that, it's not just because it's not about being special or anything like that. It's just that you did the work and you're prepared to move forward quickly on something. So capitalize and seize that opportunity, because it's part of what you're here for. It's part of your purpose. It's a gift to be received. So that is the energy of that first week, where we have that really beautiful new moon in Gemini, which I think is going to be super fun. Don't forget to set your intentions. Join us in Psychic Bestie for that. And then when we come to the 10th, we get this whole heart opening energy of that week. Everything about this week is really about coming into the territory of your heart and doing some digging and some exploration. And I want you to see where you have open tabs. And what I mean by that, you may have some former resentments towards people, some energy that has not been dealt with, anger, whatever it is, grief, I don't know, but I want you to do a little dig and discover with yourself. I want you to get out your journal, and I want you to do a meditation where you get into your heart space and you ask your heart, what is it that I need to release in order to move forward in my life? Because there's this beautiful momentum in June, but if you're not working on the core of who you are, you could be holding up the process. So this week, ask you to really get clear on creating space to receive more. And there will be no more, there will be no space, like extra space, I should say, if you're still harboring resentments against this person, that person, that person. It's taking up too much. So this is about letting go. This is about cutting away and giving yourself the ability to forgive or accept what was in the past, to release people from these internal little prisons that you think that you're keeping them in. And they're not in your prison that you like, they're not held in there. It's the venom, it's the stuff in your body that you keep, that harboring that resentment that stays. And this is a week that Spirit is saying to me, there could be some like massive healing available to you, whether it's emotional healing, physical healing, energetic healing. This is a week of so much healing, and it's all based on your heart space and your availability and capacity to let go of that which is not serving you. And for some of you, it could be as simple as like, I command and declare that whatever I'm holding on to be shown to me so I could let it go, and be open all week to see where you're holding on to outdated ideas and outdated things. And I just see it as like open tabs, like release the open tabs, let it go, create space, because this is about manifesting and getting clearer in your energy field, more aligned with the timeline and the people and the energy that you want to be in resonance with. If you're still resentful, you're actually in resonance with the past and those type of energies, versus being resonant with the people that you really want to call into your life. We're still in Gemini season. There's an opportunity to be meeting people and collaborating and having fun. So this is futuring in its finest, because you could either choose into the past and what and stay in that energy, or you could choose into the future and the type of relationships you want, and make sure that you're cultivating the relationships that you already have, and you're showing gratitude and joy and spending time with those people that you love, and saying, yes, divine, more of this, please. So there's a beautiful, beautiful heart expansion, heart work. Sometimes it might feel like hard work for you, but it's the work that needs to be done in order to evolve into the next level of who you want to be. Okay. So that's for the week of the 10th. And then we move into the week of the 17th. And this is a week where we have a full moon on the 21st in Capricorn. I'll get to that in a second. As we are navigating this week, this was a funny one for me, because the card I pulled. Have you ever pulled a card and said, I don't like that energy? But there is no bad cards. And it was the deception and envy card. And I really feel I got this a month or two ago in one of our Soulcast. And I remember saying it's the lies that we tell ourselves. It's how we deceive ourselves in our reality. Well, this one is more about your perspective and how you are keeping yourself from seeing the truths that are available to you. This is a very revelatory week for whatever reason they're saying. Like you can have a lot of illumination and truth into your patterns, into things happening around you. You just have to be open to seeing them. And it feels as if anything that's been secretive or kept from you, whether it's been locked away, even maybe in your own energy field, in your subconscious, and you haven't been able to see it, and it's been like a missing link or missing piece, this week might provide some answers. And this card is really about, I see it as a very taking the high road, treating people how you want to be treated and respected. And it's very much an energy of how you communicate and how you're honestly taking inventory of your life and making sure that you're radically accepting what is and that you're on the path to what you desire. So the deception part to me is very much allowing yourself to see things for what they are and accepting things at face value. If there's something that you haven't been able to accept or haven't been able to see, or the information wasn't privy to you, it's just this week just feels like you go, okay, so that's what I'm dealing with. That's fine. This isn't a negative thing. This is very much a medicine. This is almost like a totem. Like it reminds me of an animal totem. Like an animal totem, all of a sudden comes out, like a coyote comes out of the blue and reveals itself to you. And it's got some medicine. It wants to support you, wants to help you. It's not necessarily some like big crashing down thing. Although for some of you, you might get some big truth revealed to you that you need to know in order to get in alignment with your path. That's the thing you need to know. It's a good thing. It may come as a little bit of a shock or surprise, but in the end, it's exactly the information that you need to move forward. But think of an animal totem, a coyote coming out, and you might go, oh, what's that coyote there? And you go look up, I always do this. I always look up on my phone. Oh, what does a coyote animal totem mean? And it's those signs and those synchronicities that are going to be available to you this week that are going to support you in your journey so that you are not in any deception. You are living clearly in your reality and you're choosing your perspective and you're choosing the highest alignment. This is a week where if anything's out of alignment, you're going to see it so boldly in a way, so boldly because we have that full moon and it's going to illuminate things. And Capricorn is in the 10th house. You know, it's at the 10th house where it's all about our work and our public persona, recognition, all that kind of stuff, our work ethic. And somewhere in that area, you might see some things happening, but more, I think it's like, I always think of the mountain goat when I think of Capricorn energy, that little mountain goat that's on the side of the mountains when I've seen them when I've been driving. And you always go, how the heck did they get all the way up there? Well, they have stamina. Oh, and they're not afraid. That Capricorns do not give up. If you are a Capricorn sun sign or rising, boy, oh boy, I'm impressed because they do not give up. They get things done. And there's a little bit of this energy and this question for this week of what are you not getting done? Like where if the full moon's illuminating something for you and you got to let go of something that's not serving you anymore, where might you be deceiving yourself into thinking that you're getting things done and you really aren't? You're delaying your dreams. You're not fully expressing yourself. You're afraid to be who you really want to be. You're afraid to be your authentic self. And you keep telling yourself you're going to do something, but you're not doing it. This week, it's time out. Like, don't tell yourself that story anymore. It's time to take action, to move forward, get shit done. And that Capricorn full moon is going to illuminate that for you. It's going to reveal that to you. And it's going to give you the signs or the symbols through your dreamscape of your life to show you what's next. Okay. So look out for that. And then we have this last week of June, starting with the 24th. And we have this beautiful card of choose wisely. And this card's fun in a lot of ways because it means there's a lot of stuff happening. There's so many different choices. There's different avenues. There's different things. there's distractions. If you just if your whole month is about having fun and being in joy and celebrating and being in gratitude, well, of course you're going to have a lot of things going on, and you don't want to get burnt out. You don't want to overdo it, because if you worked this, if you listen to the energy forecast of each week, that there was a week where you were really kind of metaphorically climbing up a mountain to get to the higher vista and the becoming process, and that you were doing the heart work to really let go of the things that are standing in your way of making room and space for the people that you really want to have in your life, and really getting authentic with and radically honest with yourself if you are choosing into the life and doing the things that you really want to be doing. So we come and arrive at this choose wisely, where it's are you going to do the very things that are going to get you there? We talked a lot about daily rituals. So choose wisely means you are in charge. You have the authority and agency over how you use your power in your life. Nobody else, although they'd like you to think that they're in charge of it. But this is a week of taking your power back and understanding and finding your center, listening to that intuitive voice inside of you, listening to your soul, and making a decision from soul, not from your logical mind. This is a week where your soul is going to be very loud. It's going to be telling you what it needs. It's going to be like, hey, we have all these different ways we can go, but there's only one that is in the highest alignment. And it is your duty, really, this week to figure that out, like which one is soul aligned. And I know on paper, logical choices might have like all these different things where it's like, yeah, that's what I should do. Oh my gosh, on paper, it makes so much sense. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about your soul. And soul works very differently. Soul's connected to God, and soul wants you to grow and expand. But our little humanness wants to keep us safe and in our confined comfort zone. And when you operate from that place of just pure logic and intellect, you are missing out on that source energy that's available to you at any given time. That when you take that next leap of faith, it changes your fucking life. Like, it changes your life. It'll probably bleep me out for saying that, but it does. And so this is a week where it's like, you got to get in touch with your soul. You got to start listening. We are coming into a timeline where hopefully you're choosing love, the consciousness of love, and hopefully you're listening to your soul and what it wants. And so many of you tell me that you don't want to do the soul sucking job anymore. You don't want to be in the toxic relationship, all these things. But yet, you might be like, but logically speaking, I mean, this pays my bills, or I'm never going to find anybody else in a relationship. It's like, stop it with your excuses already, right? Stop it with the excuses. This last week really wants you to get clear and think about, what is it that my soul wants, and take action on that, move towards that, go in that direction. So you may feel you're pulled in, you have 4 or 5 different things going on, or you have all these different invites this week, or you have all this stuff going on. None of that matters. It could look like that, where you're just really busy, but it might be that you've already had this really radically honest conversation with yourself the week before. And you know that in order to get to where you want to go, to get to that higher vista, that higher viewpoint in your life, to see everything more clearly, to get to your next, whatever you're desiring, that you need to listen to your soul. You really do. And if you do that, then you're going to find that you're moving in such a way that might be uncomfortable, but there's a joy in your heart. There's a celebratory energy, because if you've ever acted from soul, which I have many, many times, those are the best decisions you can ever make in your life. Even though in the beginning it might feel really hard, in the end, they're always the best. You always look back and you don't regret it, because it's in full alignment. And if you want to know more about how to live in that full soul alignment and all these things that I'm talking about, come join me in Psychic Bestie, where we'll be doing a new moon and full moon breakdown of all the astrology from an energetics, viewpoint from me as a channeler. It's been such a pleasure to get to support you guys this month. I would love any thoughts or ahas or anything that happens this month. Please come back and share it with me. I hope that you have an incredible June and that you take time, lots of time, to get really clear and listen to your soul this month. Take care.